Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Sean here with BlueRidgeSilverhound. Hope you guys are having a tremendous day. All right, my coinaholics. I have an unpopular opinion, all right, but it might be the best for a lot of you, and that is graded coins and how and why you should avoid them at all costs. Yeah, you heard that right. Your boy Blue Ridge Silverhound, who likes graded coins, is telling everybody to not buy and invest in graded coins. Seems like a hot take, right? But believe me, I have some pretty good intentions here. And mostly this is going to be for the folks who are kind of in that beginning to intermediate stage of their numismatic journey. Graded coins are are something that exists today that wasn't as prominent as it was 40 years ago when Annex and PCGS and a few of these other companies, David Hall, produced our first graded coins. And, they didn't take off until after the turn of the century when, registry sets and things of that nature came to be. And then we roll around to the recession, and then it really took off. All right. Not only here stateside, but also overseas. China had a real counterfeit problem. They still do today. They're a main contributor, not China, but there are some manufacturing in China and other parts of the world that contribute to our counterfeits out there today. And, grading your coins or buying A graded coins used to be a guarantee that you're going to have a genuine specimen. But even the counterfeiters are finding ways to, I don't know, make up their own slabs. It looks like a PCGS holder. It smells like one. Therefore, I'm going to trust it. Um, but when we as new to intermediate collectors, we get into the hobby, some of the first things I'll probably say is, if you're going to invest in the hobby, aside from collecting, because it's kind of a twofold thing. You have one to the other, and they kind of mix together pretty well. If you're going to invest and you have, a pretty good, healthy amount of money, I would say buy graded coins. But what I fail to communicate to a lot of people, that's much more than that, because this is a message I tell a lot of people who were in a hobby for 2 weeks or a month or 2 years. But all of the people that have been in the hobby for 5+ years, who truly know their stuff, they're going to tell you otherwise. And this is going to be the 5+ year guy telling you otherwise. So the world of graded coins is quite complex. It's not only is it complex to understand, why these coins have to be graded, but also understanding the why that they're graded a certain way. So I'm going to show you guys an example. So a specific coin that grades a certain way, that doesn't look, that does all the jobs that it needs to. For example, this 1942/1 Mercury dime variety is one that's graded by a company called NGC. This one makes a lot of sense to grade. All right, it's what we call kind of like a base type coin, a base US coin. And, the variety itself is very well known, much like the 1955 double to die Lincoln cent. So, things like this seems like quite the, objective type of coin that you want to buy, either, graded by NGC or PCGS, or maybe even Annex, maybe a few other companies that, have been known for a long time, but they're not all like this. You have a grade, VF20, NGC, you have the coin. That's it, right? That's about as simplistic as you can get. And it was like that throughout the first 2 decades of coin grading. But like I said, it's gotten a lot complex because this coin that is plain as day. You know what it is. It's assigned a grade. It's graded by NGC, and it adds nothing more. Should be a slam case for what it is. So today, considering that grading, coin grading in general, is an incredibly popular aspect to the game, not only in numismatics, but also in any other collectible. You know, everybody's grading this and that and those. It's a way to provide a service, and you attach a company with the grade, you put in a fancy holder, and bam, all of a sudden you have a grading service, whether that's comic books, video games, sports cards, things like that. You start out as a small conglomerate, then you grow up into a big conglomerate like PSA and PCGS and CGC and a bunch of these other companies. There's even a company that grades VHS. So it's a multi-billion-dollar industry for graded coins. So they get to the multi-billion-dollar industry by not sticking to the basics like this Mercury dime. All right, this Mercury dime, bam, $500 coin. There's nothing that's an add or subtract, kind of like that median value for the coin. But here's where, again, things get a little bit complicated. Right? Should be a slam dunk. 1886, Morgan dollar, mid-state 63. Even though this is an older PCGS holder, they call this a rattler because the coin rattles inside. It doesn't have that ring in there to keep it all together. But can you guess what turns essentially an $80 coin into one that's about $600? Anyone? It's the toning. You're absolutely right. This toning is what they call bag toning. All right, so the coin only changes color when it is in direct contact to the canvas bag, and then there are other elements that play into it, like humidity and chemicals within the bag that react to silver. Okay, for the longest time, this used to be called just straight up tarnish. It was a bad thing. My grandmother's silverware set is tarnished, so they have a dip for that. You dip your place settings in there, and they come out bright and shiny and new. People used to do that with coins up until they found out that this kind of adjustable premium for color turns an $80 coin into $500-$600. And now all of a sudden we went from ordinary to 2 steps ahead. We're not quite in extraordinary times. By the time we factored in, the meaningful artistic nature of toned coins. But it gets even more complex. And then by the end of this video, your head is going to be spinning on a swivel like Ichabod Crane. And then, just me talking about will probably end up making you guys change your mind about graded coins. It's either, I'm going to go and invest in graded coins, but I'm just going to focus on the basics and not worry about all these other types of graded coins. All right. So there's a tone coin. I have plenty of these guys. Here's another one here. 1884 O. Look at that obverse green and blue. Incredibly beautiful coin. Mid-state 65. So how much do you think an 1884 O, which is a very common date in mid-state 65, goes for? Any guesses? See? That's what a lot of people do like, the blast white coins. But this one, unfortunately, for some of you that like blast white, has color on the front, which then again is another X factor into this. So that's what, $155, $160 coin that now all of a sudden is $500-$600. Wow, it's complicated. And for a lot of new people that are tracking the market, it's yet again another thing that they have to think about. What premium do I put on a coin with color? It's confusing. And confusing ends up costing a lot of people money. Here's another 1886. Guess what I see on there? So this is what they call an OGH, an old green holder, probably from the early 90s, that era. Look at this. All this beautiful color. A coin in mint state 63, whether it's an OGH or a newer slab, that's what, $80, $85 coin again. But that's actually the same freaking coin right there, 86p. So, the only difference is, they have toning on them, which changes the game a little bit. But there doesn't seem to be a calculator to adjust for toning. So, there you go. Another thing. Toned Silver Eagles, are you kidding me? This one's a mid-state 67, which to a lot of people, this is like a base grade. This is a base grade even if it's not in this holder, and a base Silver Eagle, even though it's a, 2008, which is not too old. But if this didn't have the toning in a mid-state 67 grade, you're probably talking about a $30, $35 coin, which is ironically still about $28 to $30 raw without toning. But adding this here, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of people ask, why does the Silver Eagle with a little color on it end up selling for $300, $400? It's the color, But it's not only just about the color, ladies and gentlemen, okay? It's a lot more than just color. All right, we also have to consider some other things. The different types of slabs and labels. This is a Vault Box Series 2 slab, right? It doesn't even have a grade. It's a generic, what they call sample slab, which is issued as kind of an advertising marketing piece for a lot of companies. NGC graded this one with their X holder, and it says Vault Box across the bottom here. And you would think, okay, another Silver Eagle, modern dated Silver Eagle 2023. Oh, let me guess, that's about $35 there. Nope. Why is this thing worth $400 or $500? One just sold here in the last couple days, a Series 5 sample slab for $405 on eBay. You can fact check me if you want. It's on there. So why in the world does something like this sell for $400 to $500 when it's just a non-graded, as in it's not assigned a numerical grade, Silver Eagle, which to a lot of people is just a premium bullion to stack? Why is this $400 to $500? All right, a lot of people won't know that, and they're sitting there bidding on it on eBay or some other site on Great Collections or Heritage Auctions, and when they think they're putting in a bid that to the playing the basics here, they think that the coin's worth, and you're like, the most I'm going to pay is $40. I don't know anyone in their right mind that would spend more than that on a non-numerical graded Silver Eagle. Come to find out, when the dust settles at auction, bam, $400 to $500. It just doesn't make any sense, right? Let's see if I have another kind of example here. Here's another good one. This one has kind of like a double doozy to it. 1881 S. I think it's an S, right? 1881 S, Morgan dollar. Check out that rainbow toning. Mid-State 64 Star through NGC. Pretty nice little black insert. It's blast white on the reverse. So you have to take into account the premium for toning. So on something like this, what, another 5 or 6 bills for a coin that's worth about $120, somewhere around there. And it's a star to denote quality. But also look what else it says there. Mapes Casino Hoard. Yet again, another freaking thing that you have to consider is a provenance, which probably adds another 5 or 10% depending on what the provenance is. There's Eliasberg, which is an incredibly collectible provenance. There's the Weinberg, who's a error attributor, various other things. So those are coins. What else do I have here that I want to show you guys? There's another Tone Morgan with what they call textile toning. A very pedestrian 1880S in Mid-State 64. Pedestrian in a sense that this is probably one of the most well-struck dates in the Morgan Dollar series. $400 for that one. It's stupid, I know. What's that little piece of gold in this NGC holder? What in the world? NGC is now grading gold? Not really. Look, it has no numerical grade. And that's about 1/10 of a gram of gold. They actually call it a gold flake. But it's actually got some substance to it, you know? Yeah, they're even doing things like this. But guess what it says on the holder? Fenn's treasure chest. Do you guys know who Fenn is? That's the gentleman, the art dealer. I think he was also an author that buried a chest full of gold somewhere. It ended up being found, I think, in Yosemite, right? Yosemite or Yellowstone? I think it was Yellowstone. But anyways, this one is attributed with Fenn's treasure chest. One of the little mini things that was found in that chest, which had enough stuff in there to be worth about $1 million. The market value on a 1/10 gram of gold is what, 15, 20 bucks? It's not a whole hell of a lot. But why does this sell for $175 to $200? So you guys see the complexity here with graded holders. It can be very confusing. It could cost you a lot of money. It's very confusing in a sense that when you go to buy them and you weren't really expecting to buy something with a little color on it, it turns out the coin ends up running away and gets carried away in the market. Then it makes you wonder, like, what did I miss? There's a lot of those questions that we ask ourselves, like, why in the heck did it sell for $200 when it's a $80 coin? And as a result, as new collectors to intermediate collectors that don't quite understand the delineation between what the base value or gray sheet value of a coin is to why it sells for many premiums above that, those are some of the things that in order for you to get beyond kind of like the beginning stages of the hobby and advancing further, you need to know why this all occurs. And that is probably the biggest reason why I'm beginning to change my stance in telling people don't invest in graded coins right away. Unless you have a strong head about it and you want to tell me, well, I'm independently wealthy and I got tens of thousands of dollars to spend. I just want to, buy and invest in numismatics. You can't really tell someone otherwise there. Just wish them well, wish them luck. But for a lot of people that want to excel in the business, you have to kind of teach yourself the basics. And that's something that a lot of people kind of tend to forget because they're blinded by the romance of making money off of the hobby. And ultimately, it's detrimental for all the new folks. You end up making a purchase that was a little bit quick. You didn't think it through. You end up paying for it anyways because of XYZ. And then come to find out when that time comes when you need to sell it because you need the money for an expense, a bill, to put food on the table. And then you end up with half of what you paid for it. Because while the collecting community at large understands why an $80 coin ends up selling for $300-$400, maybe the people that are willing to pay you for it when, the hard times arise, they're probably not going to give you the adjusted collector's premium on these, but they're going to give you gray sheet values. And that's something that you guys have to consider and you have to think about as you grow into this hobby. You have to understand the differences. But if you don't do that, you're going to ultimately fail. And that's the big reason why I'm telling a lot of you to hold your roll for a little while. You know, learn the basics, learn how to grade, learn about all the different types of series. You can even branch off and learn the basics in ancients and world coins and currency and things like that. But whatever you do, always start with the basics and get good at it. Because as long as you can do that, the one thing that's powerful in this hobby that's going to make anyone a lot of money is going to be education. But if you don't have it and you pretend like you do, that's where you begin to see the cracks in the armor, and people are going to expose you. And that's the last thing that you need to do, especially if you want to make this a business. So that's why I want to talk about here in this video, a little something about graded coins. Yeah, it got real quick, didn't it? So that's it. I hope you guys enjoy this one. I'm your host, Sean, with Blue Ridge. And I hope to see you in this hobby. Hopefully I didn't scare you guys away. All right, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you later.